Hey everybody, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, coming to you from kind of a rainy western Pennsylvania. Today is Wednesday, May the 29th, 2024. My topic today is going to be what you're seeing in the screen right now, which is my Hardi 300-gallon herbicide sprayer. And the reason I'm doing this video, I realized today, I don't think I ever really did a video on this particular piece of equipment. Plus this is, really what I'm dealing with currently. I haven't done a lot the last couple days because we've been having rain like, a lot of places here in the east, but we did have some nice days towards the end of last week. And I actually got my oats sprayed and got over half of my corn sprayed. And I'm hoping that I can get the rest of that sprayed and my soybeans sprayed at the end of this week. Because starting tomorrow, the weather is supposed to be a little nicer. So I've been able to get some spraying done. But in any event, this Hardi sprayer I bought back in December of 2016 from a relatively local used equipment dealer. It's only the third sprayer that we've had on the farm. The very first sprayer that we had, the one my dad used when he was around, was just basically a sprayer frame with a roller pump. And there were two 55-gallon steel drums attached to it, with very short booms. I can't remember how many rows of corn we got with that. Not very many, because I had never sprayed. Well, I didn't spray with it when he was alive, but whenever he passed away in 1989, I did spray with it a little bit before I got another one. And I replaced that sprayer in around 1990 with the sprayer that you can see up here on the edge of the trees. At least I think you can see. You can see the white of the tank. I'm not sure what kind of sprayer that was. The frame underneath it was green, and but I don't think it was an Oliver or a John Deere. I like I say, the make wasn't marked. There were no tags on it. But that one also had a roller sprayer. It had a 250-gallon tank. But the problem is, here in Pennsylvania, we have to go to our, well, at least you're supposed to go to yearly update meetings to maintain your state pesticide license. And at a lot of those meetings, years ago, they used to talk to us about these plastic tanks, and they used to say that, because of sunlight, they do get brittle. And I had always stored that particular sprayer outside, and so it was, out in the sun all the time. And as a result, it started to get kind of brittle. They used to say in our pesticide meetings that you should be able to hit that tank with a wooden baseball bat and it shouldn't break. But this tank on this old sprayer, it was getting so brittle, I think if you'd have hit it with a baseball bat, it would have broken into a million pieces. And I was starting to worry that, when I filled it with water, that it was just going to burst sometime. So in fact, the last couple years I used it, I never filled it too much more than half full, which was kind of inconvenient. But then so I had that from about 1990 until 2016. And then in December of 2016, I bought this Hardi TR300 sprayer, which was manufactured sometimes in the 80s. I never had any experience with Hardi sprayers prior to that. I had just heard that they were good. Sorry, my camera turned off there. But in any event, this is what that used equipment dealer had on the lot. and I checked it over, seemed to be in pretty good shape. I liked the fact that it was pretty wide booms on it. The sprayer that I showed you up in the weeds there, the old one, the booms were just simply metal, like 1-inch metal tubes that were hinged and had hose on them, you know, and the nozzles attached. And of course, they just were held up by chains and swung down by hand. This model, the booms also swing by hand, but you can see right now they're crossed. But when I unhook them in the back, then they swing out, and then there's also a piece on top that, you know, unhinges. So this thing actually opens up to be somewhere around 32 feet wide. I can spray 10 rows of wide row 38-inch corn with it. And so it gets me done and out of the field pretty quick. So I saw this sprayer up there and I liked it. The thing I always laugh about was I asked him, I said, "You sure this works?" And he said, "I don't know." He said, "I didn't have the advantage of knowing if it worked whenever I bought it." So it was kind of like he was saying, "Well, you know, why am I worried about whether it works?" And I said, "Well," I said, "you know, the condition that you bought it in, that's not my problem. That was your choice. But I want to make sure that it works. So I need you to test this before I make a deal on it." So he and his helper did put some water in it and, you know, made sure that it worked before we made a deal. So we did make a deal, and I towed it home, and I've been using it ever since. It's been, Hardis are supposed to be quality sprayers, and it has been for me. It's, you know, way more complicated than the sprayer that I had before, as you can see by the, you know, the tangle of all the hoses here. And this thing has a piston pump, which is this device right here, which you know, does work pretty well. That runs off of the PTO. And also there's one hydraulic hose that you can see right here that runs to the tractor. I always use this Oliver 77 to do my spraying because, you know, I don't believe in using a sledgehammer to drive a roofing nail. So I don't like to use a tractor that's way bigger than what I need. And this Oliver 77 pulls this 300-gallon sprayer with no problem. But in any event, there's one hydraulic hose because in the back there's a single acting cylinder that runs, you know, up and down behind this tank, and that's what gives me the capability of lifting the booms up and down, not opening them. I got to do that by hand, and closing them, but it you know, lifts the whole thing up or down so that you know, if need be, I can you know, make the nozzles, you know, higher or lower above the ground depending on the conditions. And so in order to do that, I had to go up here and do a little re-plumbing on the left-hand set of hydraulic outlets on this tractor, but that was no problem because I still have this set over here, which I use when I use this tractor for baling or anything else that requires hydraulics. So and also whenever I got it, the hinges, which are right over here, which is what operates when you open this up, those hinges were seized up, so I had to heat them and get them loose. And then I also had to widen out the wheels. The frame there for the wheels just slides in and out, and they bolt in place. And I had to do that because somebody had this set up for 30-inch rows, whoever had it before me. And so I redid it for 38-inch rows, which is what I have. But other than that, it's I got it calibrated, you know, after I got it, and it's worked pretty well. Now, one of the things that's been a little bit of a challenge with the use of the sprayer has been that It's a foreign made sprayer, and as a result, the parts on it are, I don't know how else to say it, but kind of unique. So that, like with the sprayer I had before, I used to be able to go to Tractor Supply or somewhere like that to get like nozzles and, other things like that, where this one, everything is unique. So you just can't go to just a typical farms or equipment store to get parts. Luckily, the local John Deere dealer, which is about 18 miles away, is also a Hardi dealer, so they can get parts. Plus, there's a place online, I believe it's actually called Hardi Parts Online, which is where I order a lot of things. So whenever I need new nozzles, I order them. And I also just ordered a part at the end of last week. When I was spraying my corn, I noticed that the water coming out of the nozzles was pulsating, because whenever this piston pump works, you can actually see this diaphragm right here. It's just a rubber piece that's held on here by like a hose clamp. You can see that moving. That moves in and out whenever that pump works, and they have to have something in there to, as they say, dampen the pulsation. So what they include on these pumps is what they call an air bottle here, which has a rubber diaphragm inside, which looks like this. In fact, this is the old one that I just replaced. And so this so-called air bottle comes apart. You unscrew those 12 bolts, you lift up the upper half of the lid, and then this sets down inside of there like this, with the dome part down, and then this is just open up in here with a tire type of valve stem on top. And once you have this, and I had to replace it because what was causing the pulsation in my spray was the fact that this diaphragm had a hole in it, and so it wasn't maintaining the air pressure. So I unbolted all that, put the new one in, and then you have to inflate this to around 14 or 15 pounds for that to work right. And once I did that, I had no problem with it then whatsoever, and the spray was coming out of the nozzles nice and smooth. So I ended up, I was lucky that I was in the middle of spraying when I noticed that. So I wanted to change it, and I happened to have one of these on the shelf. So I put it in and all was good. So I ordered actually 2 more of these because, it's one of those things I like to have on hand. I also keep a couple of these, rubber, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, caps, because since that is pulsing and flexing all the time, it tends to, to wear out as well. And so I like to make sure I have them. So that was something that I had to work on recently. Also, there's one other thing that I'm going to do with it, because I'm, again, hoping to be able to spray here in about 2 days, and I'm going to try to fit my fat ass back here in the space between the planter and the sprayer. There we go. But I also have to do a little work with the nozzles. Now, I like the nozzles on this because they have what's called a triple nozzle system, which you can see here. It's set up that you can have 3 different types of nozzles on there at one time. And then this turns so that depending on what you're spraying, if you want to use a different nozzle, you can turn the correct one into the down position. It snaps into place, and then that way you don't have to change them. Now, I use the same nozzle for everything, which is this color, which, believe it or not, used to be purple, and now it's kind of an orange color from exposure to the sun. And the other ones, that originally had nozzles on, I left them. And then some don't, because I took them off for whatever reason, because I only use the one size of nozzle for everything. So I like that. And these nozzles, the little nozzles themselves, come off easily. They just turn and they slide right off. But if you look at this, you can see that there's a lot of residue in there from the spray that I've been using. So that's going to be my task for this afternoon. There's 21 nozzles on this. So I'm going to put on a pair of gloves, take them off, and clean those little screens out so that the, I get a good flow and things don't get plugged up. And I already did that at the beginning of the season. Even though I rinsed it out last year, there was still some residue in there, so it's pretty easy to clean off. So I'm going to get that cleaned up, and then this will be ready to go for the end of the week. So that's pretty much a look at my sprayer here. As you probably know from if you've watched my videos, I love farming and everything to do with it. But my least favorite thing of all is spraying. I mean, I put all the garb on. I put on a respirator with the charcoal canisters, and I think it's basically like the equivalent of an N95. I put one of those on. I put on rubber gloves. I put on safety glasses because I'm using an open station tractor, and a lot of times that makes it pretty hot and uncomfortable. And I just don't like spraying, but it's a necessary evil, and I kind of, refuse to pay somebody else for something that I can do on my own. So I do it, but I'm really glad that whenever it's done, and I'm also glad that I have a decent old used sprayer to help me to do my spraying. So I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you already haven't. And also don't forget to leave me a comment or ask me a question, because I do enjoy them and I do try to respond to everyone. So for now, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, saying see you next time.